Brandon Truaxe built The Ordinary to embarrass the beauty industry. Transparent ingredients, disclosed concentrations, prices set at the lowest possible margin. He called the industry embarrassing and then proved it. He died in 2019. In May 2024, Estée Lauder, the company behind La Mer, the brand that plays music to kelp and charges $345 for a jar that costs $35 to make, completed its acquisition of Deciem for $1.7 billion. The brand built to replace them now belongs to them. 6 products from The Ordinary you need to stop using in 2026. 3 that still earn the founding promise. The most alarming product is first. Avoid number 6. The Ordinary. A-Hay, 30% plus. BHA, 2% peeling solution. The red mask, the bloody Halloween look. The $9.50 product that went viral because the before and after videos were extraordinary, and it sat on the same shelf as products people already trusted. The Ordinary built its reputation on transparency, 30% combined acids, 2% salicylic acid, pH of 3.5, all disclosed, all on the label. People trusted the transparency and concluded the product was safe to use as often as the results required. The EU concluded differently. In 2021, the EU removed this product from consumer sale. The acid concentration exceeded European limits for home use. It is classified as professional use in the EU, not a consumer cosmetic. The Philippine FDA warned against it the same year as an unauthorized product. Thousands of TikTok posts document chemical burns, blistering, and lasting hyperpigmentation. The Ordinary's own label requires professional guidance, a maximum 10-minute application, and states it must not be used on sensitive, peeling, or compromised skin. Most viral application videos violate multiple conditions at once. Looks like an affordable, transparent acid treatment that democratizes professional skincare. Reads like a product banned from EU consumer sale, being applied nightly by teenagers who found it on TikTok. 30% AHA is a professional chemical peel concentration. Dermatologists use the same range in clinical settings with pre-treatment protocols and aftercare. The Ordinary sells it with a timer and a disclaimer. The price said accessible. The concentration said professional. Those are not the same thing. For the teenager who bought this because it was $9.50 and nobody mentioned the EU had pulled it from consumer shelves, this is what you actually bought. The results are real. The risk is real. The label warning was not the part anyone screenshot. The Ordinary glycolic acid 7%. Toning solution delivers real exfoliation at a concentration safe for unsupervised home use. For acid exfoliation from this brand without professional guidance, that is the product. $9.50, 30% acid, banned from EU consumer sale. The TikTok showed the results. The burns did not make the algorithm. The next product has a concentration that sounds better than it performs. Avoid number 5. The Ordinary Vitamin C Suspension, 23% plus Hespheres. The gritty yellow paste, under $6, 23% L-ascorbic acid. The one that stung immediately on contact and felt like proof something was happening. The Ordinary disclosed the concentration. 23% is higher than most vitamin C products at any price point. The transparency made it the obvious choice. Real active, real number. No mythology around it. The number tells one part of the story. The gritty texture distributes unevenly on skin. Vitamin C cannot work where it has not reached. The formula contains no vitamin E and no ferulic acid. Independent research documents that the combination of all three amplifies photoprotective efficacy up to 8-fold compared to L-ascorbic acid alone. The suspension delivers 1 and omits 2. The stinging is not proof of efficacy. It is high-concentration acid on skin. Many users disrupt their barrier instead of supporting it. And a formula you cannot use consistently because of stinging delivers less benefit than a gentler one applied every single morning without interruption. Looks like the transparent, high-concentration vitamin C that does what every other brand charges 10 times more for. Reads like an incomplete formula with a texture that prevents the consistent use that makes vitamin C work. The Ordinary ascorbyl glucoside solution. 12% is a different vitamin C form in a water base that distributes evenly, causes no stinging, and enables daily use. Consistent daily use beats a high concentration applied reluctantly twice a week. For the beginner who bought this as their first vitamin C, stung on first application, stopped using it, and assumed vitamin C was not for their skin. This is what you actually bought. The concentration is real. The efficacy ceiling from the missing synergistic ingredients is not on the label. The Ordinary ascorbyl glucoside solution. 12% is the version of vitamin C from this brand that most users can actually use every day. That consistency is worth more than the higher number, 23% on the label. Gritty, stinging, no vitamin E, no ferulic acid. The concentration is disclosed. The efficacy ceiling is not. Drop a comment right now. Which of these products have you been using, assuming the label told the whole story? I will be reading every single one. The next product has a concentration that is wrong for the person most likely to buy it. Avoid number 4. The ordinary retinol. 1% in squalane, the highest retinol concentration in the ordinary range, the one that felt like the committed choice. If you were finally doing retinol properly, you were starting with the real thing. The ordinary disclosed the concentration, 1% retinol, on the label. That transparency had earned enough trust that the number alone made the decision for most people. The number is where the problem starts. 1% retinol is intermediate to advanced. Dermatologists consistently classify it that way. The Ordinary's own guidance recommends starting at 0.2 or 0.5% before reaching 1%. That guidance exists on the website. It is not on the front of the bottle. Thousands of documented cases of peeling, redness, and lasting barrier disruption fill review platforms from first-time users who chose 1% because the number was the biggest. Looks like the honest retinol at the honest price. Reads like an intermediate to advanced formula, sold at beginner-accessible pricing to people who trusted the label more than they searched the website. The Ordinary sells retinol at 0.2, 0.5, and 1%. The price difference is roughly $1. Nobody chooses 1% over 0.2 for budget reasons. They choose it because the number is bigger. The number is wrong for most people reaching for it. For the person who committed to retinol, chose 1%, spent 3 weeks with a disrupted barrier, and gave up on retinol entirely. This is what you actually bought. The concentration was on the label. The appropriate starting point was not. 0.5% is the correct intermediate starting point. 0.2% is correct for complete beginners. Both exist, both cost almost the same. Start lower, 1% retinol, intermediate to advanced, beginner pricing. The transparency covered the concentration. The appropriate user was in the fine print. The next product is the most recommended in the range, used the most wrong way, and incompatible with half of what is sold alongside it. Ursport. Avoid number 3, the ordinary niacinamide, 10% plus zinc, 1%. The most recommended product in the range. Every beginner's guide points here first. The serum looked like the safe, universal first step for any skin concern. Niacinamide has clinical backing for oil control, pore minimization, and barrier support. 10% is a meaningful concentration. Zinc manages sebum. The combination is clinically logical at a price anyone can afford. The recommendation felt airtight. It left a few things out. This product pills under almost every subsequent layer of skincare. Pilling means the formula balls up when something is applied over it. Both products stop absorbing. Tens of thousands of consumer reviews document this. It is one of the most widely reported problems with any single skincare product at any price point. The viscous base interacts with the silicones, emollients, and oils in products layered after it. It also conflicts with vitamin C. High-concentration niacinamide can convert L-ascorbic acid to niacin in the same routine, potentially degrading both actives. The Ordinary recommends using them at separate times of day. Most people buying both in the same haul never see that before they apply everything together. Looks like the gentle, universal, clinically backed starting point for every skin concern at every price point. Reads like a product that pills under most of what sits above it and deactivates the vitamin C sold alongside it. This formula is incompatible with vitamin C, copper peptides, and direct acids in the same routine. That covers a significant portion of the Ordinary's own product range. A universal starting point that conflicts with half the range it is sold in is not universal. For the beginner who bought this first, layered everything over it, watched it all ball up and wondered what they were doing wrong, this is what you actually bought. The niacinamide works. The recommendation forgot to mention what it cannot sit next to. Applied on clean skin, fully absorbed before any subsequent layer, and kept away from vitamin C in the same routine, this formula delivers exactly what the evidence promises. The formula is not the problem. The recommendation was incomplete. Most recommended product in the range. Pills under most products. Deactivates the vitamin C. The clinical benefit is real when the application is correct. If you are new here, this is what we do on this channel. We read the data and the acquisition filings so you do not have to. Hit subscribe. The full budget skincare investigation is coming. The next product works when used as directed and causes documented damage when used the way the name implies. Avoid number 2, the Ordinary glycolic acid. 7% toning solution. Used daily. The toning solution, poured onto a cotton pad every morning, applied to the face the way a toner is applied because it is called a toning solution, and it comes in a toner bottle and nobody told you it was something else entirely. The Ordinary was built on ingredient honesty. Glycolic acid 7%, concentration disclosed, mechanism explained. The brand that told you exactly what was in every formula made this feel like the safe, well-understood option for daily exfoliation. The name is where the trust broke. Toning solution sounds like a daily toner. It is not. It is a chemical exfoliant. The Ordinary explicitly recommends using 2 to 3 times per week maximum. The label states clearly that glycolic acid increases skin sensitivity to sunlight and increases the risk of sunburn. A National Toxicology Program study on glycolic acid photocarcinogenesis referenced in the EWG ingredient database found evidence of increased photo-induced skin damage risk from regular AHA use without consistent sun protection. Daily use without daily SPF compounds over weeks and months. The exfoliation benefit is outweighed by the photo damage accumulating underneath it. Looks like a daily exfoliating toner for regular morning use. Reads like a chemical exfoliant that increases photosensitivity and should be used 2 to 3 times per week with consistent SPF every day. Most beginner users apply this every morning because the bottle says toning solution. Most of them are not applying SPF every morning. Those two facts together are the problem. For the person who added this to their morning routine as a toner step, skipped SPF because they were staying indoors, and watched their skin develop dark spots and uneven tone despite using an exfoliant meant to address both. This is what you actually bought. The glycolic acid did its job. The product name misrepresented what doing that job safely requires. Used 2 to 3 times per week in the evening, followed by SPF every morning, this is one of the most effective, affordable exfoliants available at any price point. The product is not the problem. The name and the way most people use it are called a toning solution, used as a daily toner, increases photosensitivity, requires SPF every day. The name did the damage. The last product on this list broke the one promise the brand was founded on. Avoid number 1. The Ordinary Multi-Peptide Serum for Hair, density $32. From The Ordinary, the brand that became famous for $6 products with disclosed concentrations and no margin mythology. The serum that launched under Estée Lauder's ownership and broke every pricing convention the brand was built on. The Ordinary's founding promise was simple. Every active ingredient disclosed, every concentration printed, every price set at the lowest possible margin above cost. That promise was the reason people trusted every product in the range. The name on the bottle meant honesty. This product tests that promise directly. The multi-peptide serum for hair density retails at $32. The previous ceiling in the Ordinary range sat below $25. The peptide blend, Redensyl, Procapil, and Capixyl, is described in marketing language on the product page. The concentrations of those peptides are not disclosed. This is the brand that built its entire identity on concentration disclosure. The founding principle that made every other product trustworthy is absent from the most expensive product in the range. The independent clinical evidence for topical peptide blends in hair density is significantly weaker than for established actives like minoxidil. Minoxidil 2% for women is FDA approved for hair loss. It costs approximately $8 to $12 per bottle. The Ordinary serum costs $32 for a peptide blend with undisclosed concentrations and weaker supporting evidence. Looks like the brand that replaced beauty mythology with transparency, extending its founding promise into hair care. Reads like the first product launched under Estée Lauder's full ownership that charges more and discloses less than the brand's own standard. The transparency principle that made every other product in this range worth trusting does not appear in the product that most needs it. For the person who trusted The Ordinary implicitly because every other product disclosed its concentrations, who spent $32 because the name still said The Ordinary, and that name meant honesty. This is what you actually bought. The peptides are in the formula. The concentrations are not on the label. That was the only promise that mattered. Go check your bathroom shelf right now. If this serum is on it, look at the label. Find the peptide concentrations. They are not there. That is the tell. The Ordinary Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum discloses its key active concentration and has received more consistent independent reviewer praise than the hair density serum. If you want a peptide-based The Ordinary product for hair and skin-adjacent use, that is the more transparent option in the range, $32. Peptide concentrations undisclosed. Launched under Estée Lauder. The brand, built on transparency, did not disclose the concentrations on its most expensive product. Okay, stop for a second. You just sat through 6 The Ordinary products, 6 items from the brand built to make the rest of the beauty industry obsolete. Step 1. A founder builds something genuinely disruptive. Transparent concentrations, honest pricing, no mythology. Step 2. A conglomerate buys it. Estée Lauder invests in 2017, takes majority ownership in 2021, completes the acquisition in May 2024 for $1.7 billion. Step 3. The transparency branding stays. The name stays. Most of the pricing stays. Step 4. A $32 serum launches with undisclosed peptide concentrations. A product banned from EU consumer sales stays viral. And the company that owns La Mer now sets the strategy for the brand Brandon Truaxe built to expose them. That is not 6 separate concerns. That is one story told 6 times. 3 products still earn the founding promise. Here is what earning it looks like. Trust number 3. The ordinary niacinamide, 10% plus zinc, 1% used correctly. Where the avoid version of this product is the most recommended formula, used the most wrong way, this is the same formula used with one rule applied. This was one of the founding products of the Ordinary range, built on peer-reviewed evidence for niacinamide and zinc at concentrations that deliver measurable results for oil control, barrier support, and skin tone. EWG Low Hazard Rating. Clinical documentation for niacinamide at 10% is extensive across peer-reviewed literature. No proprietary blend, no undisclosed actives. Everything on the label, applied on clean skin, allowed to fully absorb before any other product, and kept away from vitamin C in the same routine. This formula performs exactly as the clinical evidence promises. The pilling, the deactivation, the compatibility conflicts all disappear when the application is correct. Sensitive skin types may experience flushing from 10% niacinamide. The Ordinary makes a 5% version for reactive skin, not genuinely universal despite being universally recommended. Around $7 at theordinary.com, Sephora, Ulta, and ASOS globally. The niacinamide earns its place when used correctly. The next product earns its place with no conditions at all. Trust number 2. The Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid, 2% plus B5. Where the avoid products required professional guidance, prior experience, or specific application conditions, this one requires nothing except applying it to your face. One of the original Deciem formulas. Brandon Truaxe's founding principle applied to its simplest possible expression. Take a clinically backed ingredient. Disclose the concentration. Charge the minimum. Multiple molecular weights of hyaluronic acid delivering hydration at different depths of the skin. EWG Low Hazard Rating. No documented compatibility conflicts with any other skincare active. No concentration misuse risk. No professional guidance needed. No TikTok warning videos. No EU regulatory action. High, medium, and low molecular weight hyaluronic acid alongside vitamin B5 for barrier support. The formula layers under every product without pilling, without conflict, without condition. Independent dermatologists consistently recommend it as one of the most reliably effective hydration formulas at any price point. In very dry climates, hyaluronic acid draws moisture from the skin rather than the air if nothing is applied over it. Apply a moisturizer after. One condition, minimal, around $7 to $9 at theordinary.com, Sephora, Ulta, and ASOS globally. No conditions, no conflicts, no professional guidance required. The next product is the one that proves the founding principle still works for the product most people got wrong. Trust number 1. The Ordinary. Ascorbyl glucoside solution, 12%. Where the Ordinary vitamin C suspension grits, stings, and distributes unevenly, this dissolves completely, absorbs evenly, and causes no discomfort on application. Developed as the accessible alternative to the suspension for users who found the paste unwearable. Ascorbyl glucoside is a stable vitamin C derivative that converts to L-ascorbic acid on skin contact, delivering antioxidant activity without the instability and texture problems of the pure suspension form. EWG Low Hazard Rating. Concentration disclosed at 12%. Stable on the shelf without oxidation concerns. Independent cosmetic chemists confirm it delivers clinically relevant antioxidant activity without the tolerance and texture barriers that make the suspension difficult to use consistently. A stable vitamin C applied daily delivers more cumulative antioxidant benefit than a 23% suspension applied reluctantly once a week because the stinging is too much. Consistency is a clinical variable. This formula enables consistency. Ascorbyl glucoside is not L-ascorbic acid. The 8-fold photoprotective amplification documented for the 3-way combination of L-ascorbic acid, vitamin E, and ferulic acid does not apply here. Effective daily vitamin C, not the most potent formulation available. Around $10 to $12 at theordinary.com, Sephora, Ulta, and ASOS globally. Brandon Truaxe said the beauty industry was embarrassing. He built The Ordinary to prove it. 3 products in this range still prove he was right. The vitamin C that works without stinging you. The hyaluronic acid with no conflicts and no warnings. The niacinamide that performs when the application is correct. That is the brand he built. The question for 2026 is how much of it Estée Lauder intends to keep. You just sat through 9 The Ordinary products. A professional-grade acid concentration banned from EU consumer sale and still viral. A vitamin C suspension that stings, grits, and lacks the synergistic ingredients that make vitamin C effective. A 1% retinol sold at beginner pricing to users it is too strong for. The most recommended product in the range that pills under everything else and deactivates the vitamin C. An exfoliating acid called a toning solution used daily by everyone who missed the frequency guidance. And a $32 serum launched under Estée Lauder with peptide concentrations the founding brand would never have left off the label. It is not a mistake, it is the model. Tomorrow, pick up every The Ordinary product on your shelf. Find the peeling solution and check the EU regulatory status. Find the niacinamide and check what you are layering over it. Find the hair density serum and look for the peptide concentrations. They are not there. Find the glycolic acid toning solution and check whether you are applying SPF every morning you use it. If not, set it aside until you are. Tell me in the comments which of these products you have been using and whether you knew about the EU removal of the peeling solution before today. I will be reading every single one. If someone you know is applying the peeling solution every night because TikTok said the results were real and nobody mentioned the EU ban, send this to them before their next application. The system is not broken. It is working exactly the way it was built to work. You were never supposed to find out that the brand built to replace them now belongs to them. Stay sharp. Read those labels. Keep rising.